In college, I had that familiar experience of having to cram for a test. Sometimes I just didn't get around to all the reading. I didn't get around to doing all the assignments that I could have. And so at come test time, I had to scramble to kind of get all of these facts and knowledge into my head so that I could get a decent grade on the test. And it was easy to try and take shortcuts. Usually, at least going to class got you something. And doing the assigned homework and turning it in was always a good thing. But it never was a good substitute for actually doing the reading and learning the content as we were asked to. And today, Jesus speaks of kind of a final test for his disciples. When people are asking him, Lord, will all be saved? He tells them to strive to enter through the narrow gate. Strive to enter through the narrow gate. And he tells this parable of how there are some who will come when the door is locked, knocking on the door, and the master will say, who are you? And they said, Lord, you came to preach in our street. We ate and drank among you. But he'll say, I do not know you. It seems there are no shortcuts in the Christian life. There are no shortcuts that we can cram for that moment. But rather, Jesus doesn't desire just our book knowledge of him. He doesn't desire us to recite prayers over and over up to a certain number that then we are going to be worthy of him. He desires a real relationship with us. He says to them, I do not know where you are from. He doesn't know them. We don't have a relationship with him. And it makes sense then that today in our reading from St. Paul to the Romans, he says, we are to be conformed to the image of God's Son, to be conformed to the image of Christ, to continue to think and act and move according to Jesus, not according to ourselves and not according to some sort of other layout that we think is right. But we're to be conformed to Jesus, to live our lives in and try to always daily commune with him. That's what a relationship is all about. Anyone who's married knows that a relationship takes communication. A relationship with Jesus takes prayer, where we communicate with him. I think it was Bishop Barron who once said that the narrow gate is narrow, not because it's a very, very small gate, but that it's in a particular shape, and that shape is Christ. The narrow gate is in the shape of Christ. And so we are to be conformed to Christ in all that we do, not just in the way that we act or speak, but in the ways that we think as well. Perhaps that familiar adage, what would Jesus do, could be also applied to what would Jesus think. For us in each situation, if we were to say that to ourselves, what would Jesus think about this? That would get us a little bit closer. So remember today, it's not about what we do or how much we can check off on the boxes, but Jesus wants a relationship with us. That's how we strive to enter through the narrow gate. That's how we become conformed to the image of God's Son. When we think like him, when we act like him, when we love like him.